The president just made, in my opinion, the most potentially explosive demand of his presidency. Wow, then why haven't you heard about it? Good question. The implications of the move that I'm going to talk to you about tonight could put him sideways with MAGA, put him at odds with his own people, because the can of worms that the president says he wants to open makes Epstein look like an afterthought. And yes, I believe whatever they can put out should come out when it comes to Epstein, but it is nothing compared to what we're about to talk about, okay? The media was all over Bobby Kennedy clashing with the CDC head, right? When he got rid of her, it was a big thing. Why? Because we're addicted to conflict. Negativity has become a proxy for insight, and that's why they are ignoring what really matters. The president's saying, we need, once and for all, for a come-to-Jesus moment about the impact of the COVID vaccine. Did you see this post that he wrote? Many people think the vaccines are a miracle that saved millions of lives. Others disagree. Now, that is a nod to the reality that these others are largely MAGA. And some of it is the reality that they were fed a surrey of deceptive or cherry-picked data to motivate mis- and disinformation, exploded podcasts, fed that need for you to not trust anybody but them, and that it's all a scam, and that everything you're pissed about, you should be, because they did it to you. Irony of ironies. President Donald John Trump has just asked to have a conversation, to have the data drive it, which we don't hear from him that often, which could hurt him with MAGA, but help him in terms of his legacy. Operation Warp Speed. The president believes it was the signature achievement of our struggle during the pandemic. A lot of his own base disagrees. So the president is saying, I want the truth to be understood once and for all. Think about it. Trump has opened a door to a data-driven dialogue. And again, you stop right there. When's the last time you heard somebody say that? But he believes the data shows the vaccines helped in a massive way. I think he's right. And this move, while putatively on its face is good for Trump, it may not be, because he's going to be sideways with a lot of people in his own base that were selling something very different. But you know who it could be really, really good for? Democrats. Why? Because they would have an opportunity for all of this BS about the pandemic, specifically the vaccine, to once and for all be exposed, the bad faith findings of a lot of people within the MAGA machine. Good for Trump, bad for the fringe that was motivating misinformation, good for Democrats if the Democrats take the suggestion, but they may not. Why? When is anything good for Trump and for Democrats? Never. But this could be. And yet, why isn't it getting attention? Because Democrats don't want to do something that Trump seems to want them to do, because they are stuck in Trump is the devil mode. And you know how I feel about that. It got you to where you are right now. It's not going to get you where you want to be, which is what? Back in power. Because it's got to be about better. It can't just be that Trump is always worse. That's baked in already. It doesn't move the needle. So no one's talking about it. Why? Because they're worried about this on both fringes. Right? Now, to me, I don't believe, as the president seems to suggest, that this is about data that he was shown that nobody else has seen. I don't think it's about secret data. I don't even think it's about transparency. I think that Trump's take that everybody should know what I know is kind of a nod to the fact that MAGA hasn't given a damn about the data that's out there. Okay? I don't buy it's about secret data. I think he's suggesting that the data's not there because among MAGA with the pod bros, they pretend like there's no data, except what they cherry pick and twist to make it seem like you were injecting a poison or that may have had nanotechnology in it so Big Brother could track you. So those on the right, on the fringe who've peddled this, don't want it because they don't want to risk being proven wrong, and worse, intentionally deceptive. But on the left, there's this reluctance because if Trump says he wants it, they must want to reject it. Now, I hope the president says this again and again and again. Major drug companies, mainstream scientists, doctors on all sides, let's have a dialogue about the data, okay? Oh, but Bobby Kennedy Jr. is an anti-vaxxer. Has he given you reason to believe that? Yes, but he says he is not. And Have you noticed what he said about the president's post that I'm outlining to you right now? Nothing. You know why? Because if you think he's going to say something bad about the COVID vaccine when he knows what it means to the president, you don't understand politics. And I'm not criticizing Bobby. I don't think he has a lot of reason to criticize the COVID vaccine the way is often done on the right fringe. But maybe I'm wrong. Let's go through the data. And yeah, Bobby's going to change his disposition when he wants to please a different audience. I mean, that's politics. That's reality of confirmation. But right now, he has an opportunity. You want to make this data-driven? Let's do it. Let's have the data dialogue. Let's have a reckoning. And I think it's really interesting in terms of political analysis that the president wants something that may be good for him, but even better for his opponents, because it will put the president sideways with his own base. Today, only 30% of Republicans say vaccines are safe. On the flip, 90% of Democrats say they're safe. Why? I don't know, there's like 100 reasons. Most of them don't matter. But for the president, this is about his legacy, okay? And the data is not hidden, all right? We know things about the reality. Could we know more? Of course. Should we discuss more? Of course. But at the end of 2020, what do we know? There were 200,000 new cases of COVID. That was the daily average, right? Hundreds of millions get vaccinated. 95% drop in the daily COVID cases. Herd immunity, it's not that simple. It can't be that simple. It wasn't that simple in any country. Studies show that serious illness plummeted. Hospitals emptied. Lethality dropped. That's why we're told COVID-19 vaccines saved lives, maybe 3 million lives. Do you have to accept that number? No, but we should discuss it. 18 million people out of the hospital because of less serious illness, lessen costs to the tune of $1 trillion. These are all estimates. Why not do better? Why don't we have the data? Why don't we have the discussion? I think the president is right on the facts, but not the feelings within the MAGA base, who are so attached on the fringe to anti-vax sentimentality. Now, it's usually the opposite, right? I kind of believe the president's wrong about the facts, but he's seizing the feeling right within his base, and maybe within the majority in an 80-20 cultural issue. I think he's got an amazing feel for that. But I say, let's have the reckoning, because to me, it's not just about the COVID vaccine. This is a road I want traveled, a reckoning on all the policy calls of the pandemic. We've never had it. Congress can't do it. They can't even figure out, who to blame. They want to blame Tony Fauci for everything. It's nonsense. Let's go through the policy calls, the shutdowns, the mandates, the schools, the loans, because we learn nothing to help us the next time. This is a win-win-win. It's good for Trump. It could be good for the Democrats. And for the pod people who say they want to be about the truth, this is the chance, okay? And for the rest of us, for the majority of us, give us a chance to do better the next time by learning from the last time. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.